the outdoors is my church. As I was tapping into my own heart, I felt the connection. We start quieting ourselves, and that's where we begin to start paying attention. There's no judgment. I'm just like with the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. I get to be me. That's why some of my pieces I think I call desert bliss or desert harmony, because that's what I bring home to my heart. My name is Lisa Agababian. I'm originally from New York City, and I moved to Tucson about, oh my God, it's like 35 years now. When I first came out here, for the first time I heard silence in my entire life, and sounds of doves, and finally saw this blue sky that I'd never seen before in my life living in New York City. For me, New York City was all about money, and I could not be there anymore. I came out here visiting with a friend. It ended up taking hold of me and turning me upside down and inside out, and here I am, happy as can be though. At a very young age, I was into ceramics and I was into art, period. But that wasn't supported by my parents, especially my dad. The art was not acceptable after high school, so that's why I have my formal education is math and computers. I started ceramics at an Armenian summer camp in upstate New York. And once I got my hands in the clay, I loved it. And I don't really know why. I would just create and give things away to people. The best part of being a ceramic artist is when I have an idea and I just want to see it manifest. And that's the best part of it. And I'm excited to get into the studio to begin the process. As far as the process, it's all hand building. First, I create a form, then I create slabs. I'll use slabs to create the form of the heart. If I want a desert heart, I'll create the hummingbird, I'll create the flower, one petal at a time. And then, depending on how I want them, then I start assembling the piece. I have candy coming out of pieces. I have good and plenty coming out of pieces. Once I create the form, it has to sit on a shelf and it has to be bone dry before it goes into my kilns. I run the kilns for maybe like between 9 and 12 hours. That firing allows the clay to harden. I start glazing them with different colored glazes. People that do production pottery will dip their pieces into glaze. I'm painting each piece. It's so much more intricate. I'll create a piece sometimes and I don't know how I'm gonna glaze it. Like I have an idea, and then as time passes, I'm like, it wants to be something else. I try not to get in the way of that. And so I allow it to just be what it's gonna be. Once I glaze the piece, then it goes back in the kiln for another firing. You don't make one piece at a time. I have a huge kiln. It's always like Christmas when I open up the kiln. I'll put a sculpture in that corner. I might even put one in those corners too. That's a thought. The reason why I do love clay is that before you fire it, you can actually add to it or take away from it. And if you don't like something, you can still work with it. So it's not like stone. You take away, you can't put back. So it's a friendly medium. We'll put this here, and then we'll move this stuff off, and then I'll set up this whole thing for the smaller works. Here's my piece to put up. And let me talk about the piece that's Eternal Love. Inside the piece is the Taj Mahal. That was one of my first pieces. That was about my parents. And when I think about it, it starts with my parents, but it ripples out to so many people. I was always afraid of people seeing that piece because at first I thought they would freak out because the heart is blowing open. But that's what happens when you hold things in your entire life. And that's why I love clay, because it finally allowed for the real truth to come out. And I'm grateful for that. And even though I have these tears, they're also tears of joy. I feel an absolute connection with my mom. And I feel connection with a lot of people, because I had another piece called Good and Plenty. And a friend of mine, beautiful, beautiful human being, had taken her life. I just don't know how to deal, so I get my hands in the clay. And when that happened, I made each and every single good and plenty with, almost like a mantra, sending to her. And if you believe that we're still connected after we're no longer in this physical form, then there's something beautiful happening. And so I wanted her to know, because I thought she didn't, as well as so many people, including myself at times, didn't know that she was good and plenty. Basically good inside each and every one of us. And plenty, that vast, eternal part of each of us. People are going through things you don't understand, and there's just so much we can do, so I hold people in my heart. I feel like once I connect with my own heart, I then begin to be connected to everything. Pretty magical, and I want to bring that to my pieces and have that reflect back also.
No, that's right.
That is the essence of who we are.
Nice space, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.